In the world of sports, some athletes don't just compete on the ground, they dominate the sky. Today, we're exploring the greatest aerial threats across 4 major sports, showing the athletes who turned jumping into an art form and caused defenders to look up in despair. Starting with the greatest goal threat from heading that football has seen, we have Cristiano Ronaldo. Standing at 187 centimeters or 6'1", Ronaldo has redefined what it means to be dominant in the air in football. But it's not just about raw physicality, it's about timing, technique, and that incredible hang time that seems to defy physics and allow him to outcompete defenders even if they have several inches of a height advantage over him. Ronaldo's header against Sampdoria in 2019 saw him rise 2.56 meters off the ground, hanging in the air for 1.5 seconds, which may seem like an eternity in the context of football, where the nature of the game is to keep the ball on the ground, where players with low centers of gravity can work their magic. However, Ronaldo defies conforming to traditional roles like the quick, shifty dribbler or the big, strong target man, and combines several facets of his game to make him quite possibly the most complete footballer that the game has seen. While Ronaldo's athleticism is undoubtedly elite, it's his ability to put this athleticism to use in football matches, in scoring positions, that makes him so special. He anticipates the cross before it's even delivered, then tracks the ball meticulously after the delivery and times his jump to perfection. Having scored over 140 headed goals in his career, Ronaldo proves time and time again that if the right ball is delivered to give him a chance to outleap his opponents, the defenders rarely have a chance at stopping him from finding the target. Moving from grass to the hardwood with basketball, Blake Griffen in his time with the Clippers was a force of nature above the rim. Griffen didn't just dunk, he posterized. His combination of size, speed, and explosive power made him the most feared aerial threat in the NBA while he was in his prime. Standing at 6'9" with a 40-inch vertical, Griffen was able to rise to a level where his head was above the rim, meaning he could look down into the basket and just throw it down. Griffen attacked the rim with such violence that for his opponents, getting out of his way was seen as a business decision, because putting your body on the line when Griffen got a head of steam to the basket was just asking to be put on a poster. Griffen's thunderous dunks led to the Clippers gaining the nickname of the Lob City Clippers for their entertaining highlight reel dunks. All his teammates had to do was lob the ball into the vicinity of the hoop, and Griffen went up to slam it down. Griffen also managed to perform a variety of showboat dunks in the middle of NBA games that would be suited to the slam dunk contest, a realm he was quite familiar with, having won the dunk contest in 2011 while jumping over a car in the process. With Griffen's physicality and muscular build on a towering 6'9" frame, trying to put a body on him as he elevated to the rim was a recipe to get humiliated. However, when Griffen rose above his opponents who chose to keep their feet planted on the ground, they just served as highlight reel material because it gave perspective on just how high Griffen could get over 7-foot NBA players. With Griffen's waistline being above the head of the New York Knicks center for one of his most famous dunks. Switching over to American football, it's the wide receivers who are tasked with getting on the end of the quarterback's throws and securing the ball in the midst of defensive pressure. The NFL has seen some incredible athletes in the wide receiver position, but one who literally stood above the rest was Calvin Johnson, who measured at 6'5" with a 4.35 40-yard dash and had a 42-inch vertical jump. With these stats, it's not hard to understand why he earned the nickname Megatron when his on-field play expressed the very best potential of his physical attributes. Something that separated Johnson from other receivers was his catch radius. With his height, incredible wingspan, and the ability to adjust his body mid-air, he could catch passes that seemed impossible. Defenders knew what was coming, but they simply couldn't match his elevation and control in the air to put a stop to his incredible aerial performances. Some people have referred to him as the most unguardable player ever in the NFL, and to receive that mantle, it takes another level of dominance. In 2012, Johnson went 8 straight games with 100-plus receiving yards, setting a new NFL record while also totaling 1,964 receiving yards for the season, which is another league record that still stands to this day. It was in 2013 when Johnson would record the highest receiving yards for a single game of his career with 329 yards in a win over the Cowboys, which is the second highest tally for receiving yards in a game in NFL history. In the red zone was where Johnson thrived because all the quarterback needed to do was throw it up, and the defenders couldn't jump high enough to stop Johnson from catching the ball at the highest trajectory. When Johnson caught the ball far from the end zone, defenders still panicked because his pace and ability to break tackles due to his strength meant that he was a threat to take the ball all the way to the end zone on seemingly contained plays. Johnson's combination of height, strength, speed, jumping and body control made him the ultimate aerial weapon in the NFL. Finally, we head to rugby, where Israel Folau dominated the skies in both rugby codes of league and union. Folau had an early start to his professional rugby career, making his rugby league debut in the NRL at just 17 years of age. But what he lacked in experience, he more than made up for in physicality and athleticism, as he showed his jumping and catching prowess from the very moment he began playing professional rugby. Standing at 6'4" and 230 pounds, Folau is the first player on many people's lips when you ask them who was the most athletic player they've seen on a rugby pitch. Not only did Folau have a jumping ability that outshone all of his opponents, but he also had an unrivaled skill level when it came to catching the ball, both in his chest and above his head, with his high extended arm catches garnering attention from Aussie rules football teams, and eventually providing him with the opportunity to play for the Sydney Giants in the AFL. Folau's skill set was made for rugby, however, and it was his unrivaled ability to contest high bomb kicks that made him the most secure fullback in rugby union, while it was his ability to leap over his opponents to collect cross kicks at the try line that made him a deadly try scorer on the wing in both union and league. Often when Folau caught the ball, it was only the beginning of the danger for the opposing team, as his blistering speed and elusiveness meant that he could take advantage of counter-attacking opportunities that would make his opponents regret ever putting the ball in his airspace. Probably the most iconic moment in Folau's rugby league career and his self-claimed favourite try was his astonishing jump and one-handed put-down, which he scored in the 2008 State of Origin decider game for Queensland at just 18 years old. State of Origin is the biggest stage there is in the rugby league calendar, and for Folau to showcase his talents like that in his first Origin series showed that he was a truly special player. The competing defender had no chance of getting to the ball, but when Folau bumped him out of the way, another defending player grabbed hold of his leg, causing him to fall down across the player's back. Having the presence of mind and body control to still score the try in that scenario without dropping the ball was nothing short of spectacular. In the following clip, we will hear Folau speak about that try and also speak about how he approaches the ball so that he can beat his opponents in the air.
Does that try when you spec him get upside? Is that your favourite try ever?
I would say, yeah, that's by far my favourite try. Yeah, it was. I still can't believe I did it. You know, like I watched back on that highlight and I'm like, man, that was yeah, was that me? You know what I mean? But me personally, my angle coming into the ball is it's never a straight line. It's always sort of a little slight arc coming into it.
High jumper.
Yeah, like a high jumper almost, you know. And I think the key thing is always watching the ball.
So you just track
the whole way, bro. Like, don't worry about who's in front of you. You just track the ball the whole way and get a nice angle coming into the ball. It's all about timing, bro. You don't want to get there too early because you'll get under the ball, and you don't want to get there too late because you won't get a proper jump on it. So
Folau's ability to judge the ball's trajectory, time his run and his jump perfectly, then position himself into the space where nobody else can compete for the ball, made him the greatest aerial threat and most dominant aerial player that either code of rugby has seen. He will be remembered as the man who showed us the closest thing we would see to flying on a rugby pitch. 4 different sports, 4 different athletes, but one common thread: the ability to use their incredible athleticism to, quite literally, rise above the competition to a level that opposing players simply couldn't contain. Whether it's Ronaldo's precision headers, Griffen's explosive dunks, Johnson's impossible catches, or Folau's all-round aerial mastery, these athletes proved that sometimes the sky really is the limit.